acting straight. It's like the same John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman. That stands for a testimony to the spectacular, a share of the royal glory. Wolfers, the palace-grade artistic jewelry. That starts our show. So today with me in the bi-weekly discussion is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a special political commentator, and also he is a writer himself, and I call him a philosopher and everything. And he is a lover to the community and a peace lover, of course, and a man who has the guts to stand for what he believes right.
I do.
And will bow, losing no time when he recognizes he is wrong. Right?
That's true.
Yeah, luckily he is seldom wrong, so that's why he argues with me all the time.
I'm probably wrong all the time.
Okay. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jack. You know, the happiest hour of my life is when I spend it with you and your viewers in your studio. And
same thing here.
I feel
same
honored
thing here.
for
Even though I do my shows on a daily basis,
Yeah.
I like the discussion between you and me, and then I enjoyed every minute of it, because when you talk to people who are like-minded, you feel extra happy.
Well, we're both compatible and combative because we have minds that we use our strength of our minds
Sure.
and discuss
Absolutely.
serious subjects.
Very good. So, on top of today's discussion, what do you have?
Well, I think we should talk about Venezuela.
Venezuela, right?
Yeah, and like I watched TV a lot yesterday. There's a very major uprising of the people in Venezuela. They're drinking water out of sewers and things like that. It's the economy has broken down, even though it has a tremendous oil reserve. It's just not. It's just not working. It's not benefiting, and it's an evolution of a socialist government that we have a lot of people right now in America that think, well, wow, we should try socialism or something, but it always has the same unhappy ending. So now, though, what's going on down there? There's hundreds of thousands or more people. I just checked this morning. It's 3 hours ahead of us in time. They're gathering to start their protests for today. And supposedly Maduro, who was the dictator down there, was going to leave yesterday to go to Cuba. And I do believe eventually they'll get him out of there. But then the Russians either coerced or convinced him to stay. But supposedly his plane was ready to get him out of there. So in a lot of it, of course, boils down to who does the military support. And so far, I think a majority of them still are supporting Maduro, but 3 of his key people in his cabinet have switched to, for Juan Guaido to be, who was selected by their Congress to be president. And so as more and more people are switching or losing their commitment to Maduro, it's really only a matter of time. Now, and then the question is, does America or anybody else, 54 countries on planet Earth have acknowledged that Juan Guaido is their authorized president. And so do we need military interference also to make it happen faster? We all want that not to happen, but we can't lose Venezuela to the influence of the Cuba and China and Russia all have little economic pieces in there.
All right, good. I thank you very much for giving the rough picture, overall picture about what's happening there.
A lot of violence.
I would take a second consideration
Sure.
in giving any comment about the social system, because
Really?
I hate to get involved with other countries' politics. Right? Number one. Number two, I do not sure that I have enough evidence who is the legit
current
president, or how they call it.
Well,
President?
he's the president, yeah.
President, right?
Yeah.
Through legal process, through election.
Well, that was through
is the
their
one?
Congress.
Right.
Yes.
Who is the one?
Yeah.
But above all these, if you peel off these two layers, though,
Yeah.
what we see is that people who are suffering. That's the
That
major
they're
concern.
suffering.
That's the major
Yeah.
concern from a humanity point of view. Whatever they do, whoever they are.
Right.
Right.
It's huge. People
Yeah.
are dying.
Even they fight. Even if all of them are our enemies.
Well, yeah.
It's enemy fighting enemies, right? Even in that case, though, my take is that they are human beings.
Of course they are. But supposedly they're trying to become a democracy.
You have women, you have children,
starving
you
to
have
death.
elderly involved,
Horrible.
who has no drinking water,
Right.
no food,
No food, no milk.
no medicine, no milk, no nothing, no bread, no nothing to hang on.
Yep.
And when the political guys,
Yes, sir.
playing big on top,
Yeah.
that's not something we want to take.
Well, it can't go on like this. It can't go on a long time like this. If Maduro,
Plus people are getting killed.
people are dying and starving.
Yeah. All right.
You know, maybe got one set of clothes and that's about it. It's very, because if you watch the coverage, you just see all the tear gas. Sometimes you hear what sounds like gunfire, but it might be rubber bullets or something, you know, not bullets to kill people. I just don't know how many real bullets they're using, but and they have, you know, military equipment and they're running into crowds. It's violent, and it's the people, you know, it's just like, you know, back in America when we had a revolution against England. I guess people were
Has
willing
it
to
caused
die.
attention to the United Nations?
Well, you know, I'm not a fan of the United Nations. The United Nations has, we do have a new ambassador from Venezuela in America, in Washington, D.C. now. In the United Nations, you know, they don't have really any power.
Yeah.
We don't, they all wear blue
at
things.
At this very moment, though, by
Yeah.
definition,
Yeah.
forget your personal liking, my personal liking, we do or do not believe the United Nations.
Well, it's just the effectiveness.
It is a
Yeah.
United Nations problem.
Well,
by
it
definition.
It should be, yeah.
Right? By
Yeah.
definition. And I should say the best way to do is that instead of any country sending anybody there to aid up, to seize, to put down, to suppress whatsoever, I would recommend the best way is that we get the police officers.
Well,
I
agree with you.
Peacekeeping officers.
Right.
Right?
I agree with you.
Get their boots on the ground
Right.
to stop it.
That's a perfect
If
thought process.
suppression is necessary, let's adopt it.
Yeah. Well, Vice President Pence spoke to the General Assembly of the United Nations, and he told the Venezuelan ambassador, representative there, that, you know, you should not be here, you should really leave. And the guy's shaking his head and, you know, not happy at all, of course. But
That was a week ago.
the only time the United Nations has been particularly effective is some activities in Africa. They have done some successful interventions in Africa. But you know, but yes, I like exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
now we have
exactly.
54 countries that recognize Guido, but they're not all willing. You know, they'll contribute in their own way, which sometimes is recognition and nothing else.
Well,
want
regardless
the
of,
people to-
regardless of Mandela or whoever,
Yeah.
give the people food.
Well,
Rescue the people.
and they've used their military at entrances to Venezuela
They
to
do
stop
have-
people from
yeah, I know,
supplies
they do,
coming in.
They do have oil, but they cannot drink oil.
No, that's right. Good
they
point.
have to have food.
They need
right?
food.
And on the other hand,
Food, medical, yeah.
on the other hand, forget the conflicts among United States,
Yes, sir.
Russia, China, or whoever. Forget their own conflicts of each other, of one another. Try to aid them. Give them, no, right now money will not work.
Well,
right now, food
right,
works.
right.
Right. If you give money, it goes to hand to the government or the rebels.
Yeah.
Right. So, the best way to do is to give them food, give them water, give them clothing. What kind of weather is there?
But
is it still
Maduro,
summer?
well, it looks sunny, and they're not wearing heavy clothing when you see them
It's the summer.
protesting.
It's summertime. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
The
nice.
summer. At least summer is coming.
But Maduro will not allow that. He will not allow his people to have that help.
Then take him, oust him,
Well, that's what they're trying to do. Jack.
like
Yeah.
we did with Saddam Hussein.
Right. Exactly. It is
Right?
the same. It is
We
the same.
sent, like we did with Bin Laden.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
We sent our men and women down there to take him.
Right.
Right.
And we're trying not to do that.
That's why we're strong.
It's the last resort.
That's why we're strong. That's why we are to be strong. Because somewhere, somehow, in a situation like this, people need us.
And this is not, and this is in our hemisphere. South America. I mean, it's only like a 3-hour flight to Venezuela.
If the guys,
from,
if the guys,
Yeah.
I mean, it is Mondaro and his
people.
opponents, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Keep on fighting. Take them both.
Well, to stop the fighting.
Yeah, stop the fighting.
Right.
Okay? Take them both, stop the fighting, aid the people, stop the dying, because they are dying every single minute.
They are. They are. It's. I mean, if you don't have food, you don't have water, you don't have life. You don't have hope.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't have
And,
hope.
well, of course, they drink dirty water from the sewer
They
lines.
are, and that can infect you very, very,
They can
very
die.
badly.
You can die by drinking the water alone.
And some do. That's
Right.
right. Exactly. So we've got to really, I don't know what you call it, I mean, we all have all different ways of hoping. I pray that it works out, and I also hope that it works out, and I believe our president and his team are very active. I suspect we have some boots on the ground in there, and I'm not saying military boots, but protecting Juan Guaido from being killed.
It's not a Congress thing. It's a president thing.
Yeah, in this
Okay?
case.
Within his executive power,
he has the power.
Send somebody there
Right.
to take care of the situation.
And he does.
If killing is necessary, do it.
Yeah.
The bad guys, I mean,
Yeah.
right?
It's real bad. It's not just
All right,
bad.
my dear friends, it gets the people's nerve, especially every time when you're talking about problems. And what's worse is that we have endless of problems. We are just surrounded. We're drowning in problems.
The world is.
Let's take a short moment out, and when we come back, we will continue. This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, that stands for a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. So stay with us. We will be right back.
Claims everything is expected and straight. It's like it seems wrong way.
My name is Paul James. I host English News Report.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West Show, a show talking about the truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
We tell right from wrong. Of course, our take is not the only take, but at least there's one take that provides you the reference to look around the world like a worldview. Right? This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. With me today is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming. Though a CPA for life, but he lives another life by loving this country, loving the community a lot. And he gives up his time and even money necessary, and, well, especially time, in putting together information for people. His book, for example, Life is Simple, 100 Words to Live By. I would say if you recommend the book to Venezuela,
Yes.
there would not be any problem
No problems.
at all.
No.
Right?
It is the way to live life in a simple way.
Sure. All right, good. So back to the discussion. In the biweekly update, we see another problem, which is what happened in Venezuela the previous week.
You mean Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka in the previous week on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And how much do you know about that attack?
Well, unfortunately, I know a lot about it because I care about it. And some radical people in Sri Lanka, Islamic terrorists, about 6 that had bombs on, blew themselves up, and other using weapons. They attacked 3 churches on Easter Sunday because they knew there'd be a lot of people worshiping there, and then they attacked 3 of the luxury hotels. The result was over 300 dead. And
350.
Okay, so that's a lot, and over 500 wounded. So these are people, just like you and I sitting here, Jack. Somebody could walk in here and just start shooting at you. They go to church, they're happy, they've had coffee for, whatever, and they're in there and they're celebrating a special day in Christianity and in other religions too. Easter's pretty well celebrated. And then it's not a violent country, but all around the world now, what's happening is there's a massive growth in anti-Semitism, which is anti-Jewish and then anti-Christian. And for example, the New York Times in their international edition just had this cartoon showing a caricature of Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu as a dog, and Trump was walking the dog or pushing the dog. And they let that out for 4 days before they realized, it all goes back it's worth just sharing. In Germany in the 1930s, they had these cartoons that just demeaned and dehumanized Jews, okay? And it led to the Holocaust. And they're using these cartoons again. It's kind of the same as before, which after 70 years is pretty sad. So there's a growth of this, and then we had some people that would express their condolences for it. A lot of people, like 99% of people don't want to see people slaughtered like that. But some people, both President Obama and Hillary Clinton said that they expressed their sorrow for some Easter worshipers that were terrorized and murdered, and did never mention the word Christian and did never mention the word church. So but if it was Muslims that it was done to, it's a huge deal, and they're just not giving the proper recognition to Christianity.
All right, good. Thank you very much.
Now that's my speech.
Yeah, thank you very much. Stop right
but
there.
This is really sad.
Of course, there's enough for the overall of that. And
the results are sad.
Plus, for the layer of news perspective, we let the news pass. The news is news already. We want to peel off that layer to go underneath to see what's there.
Which you're excellent at.
You just mentioned one point that's so important. That probably could be the handle that you and I can hold on to talk about.
Thank you.
In other words, that could be the head of the nail we should knock on.
Boom. Yeah.
Right, to make a point. Now, you're saying both president and vice president in their speeches talking about their condolences of the massacre.
Yes, sir.
Failed to mention the word Christianity and the word
in churches.
And the churches.
That was President Obama and Hillary Clinton. So previous.
Right, previously.
Yeah. And a lot of other people.
And now they are still preventing those words.
Yeah, they haven't.
You know why?
Well, tell me
what
your
thought. Number 1,
thought.
there's a good reason of why. And number 2, I really appreciate them not mentioning the words.
Okay.
Right, now, here's the problem. Now,
wow.
When you have a problem of 2 guys fighting, or 2 groups fighting, or 2 rivals fighting, or whoever, right? You really have to consider what kind of fighting is. Sometimes you can control one can control the other by killing or by threatening to kill.
Okay.
So the other party being threatened will subdue and they will capitulate, right? Now you are talking about a bunch of people, a bunch of animals who are not afraid of dying.
Correct. They blow themselves
So
up.
They blow themselves up.
Yeah.
Right? Who are willing to die,
Happy to.
who are happy to die. You really have a problem on top of problems. Right?
Well, yeah.
So in this case, deter is not a word. Right?
it's just like
you
the-
cannot scare them away. Right? Now, the best way to do, me, if I were at Congress, excuse me,
Bless you.
I would make, thank you, I would make in my speech to prove my point that we need to go behind the fact that why they were willing to die.
Ideology.
Ideology. All right?
It's that
Good.
simple.
We want to go behind that. We find the ideology. Can we do something with the ideology rather than the physical human body? You see what I mean?
See, it's real. Like we have defeated ISIS. Okay.
No. In order to deal with ideologies, though, every ideology has its own ground. All right?
Okay.
Every ideology has its own ground. So now you can't say my ideology is good, it's better than yours. Neither can you say yours is better than mine.
I can.
We're all, of
Yeah,
course
but- yeah,
you
but-
can.
yeah, right, right.
Well,
'Cause I think it's- yeah.
That's my point. Let
Right.
me finish my statement, which is that we'd better go behind. We will find the ideologies. We will confirm every ideology to be legit.
Well,
It is only individual act that act differently, that gives kind of like a misunderstanding of the ideology. So in that case, we will control the situation. We will suppress the contradiction. We would mitigate the confrontation slowly by and by, rather than just to say it is
seek revenge or something.
just a Muslim hit Christian.
Well-
What would the Christians think as a result?
Well, a lot of them are dead, so they
Yeah,
can't
I
think
know, I
anymore.
know.
What would they think?
Revenge, right? Am I right?
No,
Revenge.
not really. No, not really.
Hatred.
Yeah.
Am I right?
It's not hatred. I mean, I'm a Christian and I believe
I know,
in forgiveness and that. But you have
what would
to
hatred
respond.
produce? What would the hatred produce?
Hatred never works.
Never
Hatred
work.
never works.
Okay, now, so to confirm it as a disaster, as a massacre, as a slaughter, well, to the extent that those are certain individuals, their own act, or
Well-
certain groups, their own act.
Big groups.
Don't label it with the ideology that will save the earth. That will save humanity, man. That is my point. Maybe too big to understand, or maybe too minor to pay attention to.
Well, and then of course, we have 2 Muslim women in Congress, and they're not upset about it at all. They don't say anything that's really.
No, don't go even further.
well-
Don't go even further.
Yeah.
As long as they are
true.
elected members of the Congress of the United States, we believe that we can give our trust to them, to these women, regardless of their religion, regardless of their religious background, regardless of their sex, their age, or whatsoever.
Well, trust has
If
to be
you
earned.
do, if
Trust
you
has
do
to be
find
earned.
something wrong, oust them. You can
And-
impeach them.
And I think at
You can
least
vote them out.
2 of the 3 will not be reelected. We'll see what happens. 'Cause
All right,
it comes,
sure,
yeah.
sure. And
But-
to vote them out, right? That's the only way, only thing. And once again, we cannot label them to be Islamic.
They have labeled themselves, Jack. They have the 2 Muslims. They have labeled themselves.
Slow down, my dear friend.
Yeah, but they
Slow
have.
Slow down. I know. You
I'm not
and
labeling
I-
them as a
yeah,
terrorist.
I know.
But
I
they are
know that you and
Islamic.
I, on the same boat,
Yeah.
will feel the same sorrow for having lost that many lives.
And some people don't feel it.
Well,
we
that's
do.
the problem.
Yeah,
That's
the problem. Yeah,
That's the problem.
Some people
All right.
encourage it.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, my dear friends, lovely audiences, of course, we are in a very problematic world.
Well, that's true.
That we are surrounded. We are even drowning in problems. However,
not getting
there
better.
remains a chance of choice. Choice meaning that to think rationally rather than emotionally.
Both are valid, yes.
I recommend that we need to think rationally instead of being emotionally. We are in the advanced world. We have more time to sit down, and or second or third or fourth consideration before we label anything in the wrong way. All right. Anyway, we will take a short moment. We come back to continue. This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, a testimony to the spectacular, the share of the royal glory. We will be right back, please.
Everything
Pretty
is
bad.
expected.
We continue
Straight.
to work
It's
on
like
it now.
seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West Show, a show talking about right or wrong, the show talking about truth, nothing but the truth, which is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of master craftsmen. That stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. So, brings us back to the show. We discussed about the problems. We discussed about first Venezuela and then Sri Lanka, right?
Both
in
serious.
the United States, though, we believe that the general election for 2020 has already started.
Oh, it has.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
We have seen names popping up on the list.
Yeah.
And lately, which is about last week, Joe Biden.
Right.
Joe Biden officially announced his running, right? So
He did.
And do you have? I believe that you have a list, and I have a list too,
Well,
of the candidates so far. Right?
it's pretty hilarious. Jack, the joy I felt when we were watching the Republican debates when there were 16 people and then 14 and 12. And, I mean, it was fun to watch. I'll even look at reruns of them when I just kind of want to laugh, okay? And this is going to be so fun. Now, you have to have a certain percentage of money collected. I think it's $2 million to be able to get in the first debate anyway. And so some may not even be there, but most probably will. And there's 20 now Democrats that have and I should say one independent, but Bernie Sanders, who now says he's a Democrat when the elections come around. So basically 90% of the time he's independent. But and some of the names, I don't even know who they are. And many of them have never had a position of great strength and in political experience. But now Joe Biden, of course, to remind our viewers, he was vice president for 8 years with Barack Obama. And so either that's going to be helpful to him or it's not going to be helpful to him. Now, one thing though, in all of these, everybody's got some sort of scandal, whatever, and Mr. Biden has been criticized for not inappropriate sexual activities, but touching people and when they don't want to be touched and stuff. Well, no, I mean it's all over the news, and it's all.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, he's
go ahead.
He says,
and I have my take.
no,
on
that's
that.
fine. He says, well, I apologize if anybody felt uncomfortable because that's how I was, and so he's apologized for it. And then, you know, he's been in, I mean, since he was young, probably, I think at 30 he became a senator, and he's been in there, and he's 76 or 77 right now. Not sure what his birthday is.
77.
Yeah, and Bernie Sanders is 77. No, I do think sometimes, like the greatest leaders, some of them have been old, like Winston Churchill, but he still wasn't quite that old. Okay.
The greater leader, the longer they live. How about that?
Sometimes, yeah, I like that too. But so right now, Biden, because of name recognition, and a lot of people that still, you know, like Obama, is in the polls, you know, is ahead of the others, a little bit ahead of Bernie, and then all these others have got 2%, 4%, 5%. But what's interesting is, you know, there's such a lean and tilt to the left, which is it's past liberalism to leftists, where, and then on the left, to the leftist side is basically socialism, okay, which gives up your individual freedoms, and it just doesn't work economically. So we'll have to see what happens. I can't believe America would ever elect a socialist, but, you know, and I don't even know if it's certainly not compatible with the Constitution. I think it could go to the Supreme Court. But all these people here, it's going to be so fun. I mean, you know, I hope your network shows the debates when you have these people that are going farther and farther left, okay? Example, with the Green Deal, $93 trillion to do something, Medicaid for AIDS, $35 trillion. We don't have money for that. But that's what they want us to vote for.
All right.
It's going to be fun. But I could go through and just give you the names.
I know.
I got them all.
Thank you for that briefing. That's a very vivid briefing.
It's fun.
It's been brief enough because
sure.
If you did go into details, that could be themselves for 5 shows already.
No, right? It would be. And a lot of these will drop out soon.
Yeah, I know. I, as a show host,
yes, boss,
been on the job for so many years. Thank you.
Yeah.
As an old timer,
so proud of you.
As an old timer, I've been going through lots of elections.
Yes.
Lots of elections.
Right.
When I came, it was Ronald Reagan.
Right. Okay.
From Ronald Reagan all the way up to now.
Yeah.
Right. So, this is the moment of starting of the show, right? So normally when you go to a concert, right? Before the concert, there is an overture.
Yes, sir.
Whatsoever.
Right. I love it.
Somebody says something.
Yeah.
Says something, and then they put a light on the stage.
Yeah.
Before you actually see anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So nobody is really actually the player on the stage at all.
It's just beginning.
They're just the beginning.
It's
Number
an
one.
overture stage.
Right. Yeah, overture stage.
Yeah.
Number two, none of them, except their slogans, they're swearingly ready to do whatever they want to do, right? None of them has tackled or mentioned or even mentioned the key problems, right? Regardless of where the solutions are, our key problems are at the border.
Yes.
Number one.
They're not,
Oh, yeah. Health care.
Yeah.
Right. Number two, immigration reform.
Yes, sir.
Right. U.S. Foreign policies. Right.
Yes, sir. You're right. You're beautiful.
And those 1, 2, 3, 4 are the major things, major issues.
The issues.
Nobody has even touched.
All they're touching is their hatred for the president. That's what they're all saying the same thing, you know.
There's no need at all. He's the president for.
I know. Duly elected.
He's the president for 1 term already.
Yeah.
And he's ready to be reelected.
Yeah.
Right?
He's shooting for that, yes. Because see, that's the whole thing. Because they're not.
By U.S. Constitution.
Gotta go to issues sometime.
By U.S. Constitution.
Yes, sir.
The moment he swore in.
Yes, sir.
He's the president of yours, of mine, of whoever.
Obama was my president.
As long, pardon me?
Obama was my president, even though I didn't approve of him.
Of course. And Donald Trump is my president.
Yes, sir.
And your president.
Yes.
Everybody has to say that.
Yeah.
Now you wanna overthrow him. You wanna oust him. Go ahead.
Well,
Now, when you
but don't do
run an
it
election,
illegally, yeah.
when you run of course legally,
Right.
When you run an election, though, you do not use Donald Trump as your target.
and so far they are. Yeah.
So, what do you do? Well, how do you run a country? Question, right? The border.
Right.
Like I said.
Yeah.
Like I said.
What will you do about the border?
Yeah.
They agree it's a crisis now.
Regardless of where solutions are.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have not a solution or recommendation?
Yeah.
Or even the faintest idea of what to do?
Well, one thing
No.
today, the White House has asked for $4.7 billion more for the border crisis, but $300 million of it would be for helping have facilities and feeding and that all of these people. Now, I don't really want to pay my taxes for all of that, but for the wall, but only 1.7 for the wall, $3 billion for the humanitarian crisis, which is huge.
Exactly.
People, it's huge.
Exactly.
It's incomprehensible.
Regardless of the legality of the wall
Yeah.
itself, right? But there are people there.
Oh, there's people.
There are people.
Flooding,
As
they're
long as they
invading our
breathe,
country.
As long as they breathe,
They're people.
They need to eat, right?
That's right.
If they die, there's a sanitation problem.
Yeah, I can't let them die as a human.
No.
Yeah.
If they do die,
Yeah.
right? There's a,
a big
sanitation problem.
Yeah, and we're not prepared
Either
for it.
way, their problem. We're not prepared.
We're not prepared.
So, where's the solution? Do you have a solution?
Well-
right? If I were one among the 20, I would say, if I'm elected, I will do this X, Y, Z at the border.
Well, that's right, and that's what the Democrats need to
It
do.
may be wrong.
This
It
is
may be
what we
wrong.
do.
It may be wrong.
No, it could be,
Well,
but still,
you can go ahead and criticize me.
man up or woman up, stand up
Whatsoever.
to what your agenda is.
Okay, my
and
dear
they're not
friends.
doing that. That's right.
With me today is
You're
my
perfect.
dear brother Ken Hemming, lovely brother, and I really like him. And we normally argue, but today is one of the very few times we do not argue.
Yeah.
We agreed on the common ground that we need to have some solution or see
we do.
something like a handle to hold on before we can trust you.
Yes, sir.
Right? We don't want to even trust anybody, all right, before we see anything. All right, let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue. Probably we'll pick up Joe Biden as our point to break through.
Yeah.
How about that?
I've got a good comments on that.
Very good. So we'll be right back, my dear friends.
Everything is expected and straight. It's like the same John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English news.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West Show, a show talking about right or wrong, a show talking about the truth. Nothing but the truth. Nothing but the naked truth. How about that?
Absolutely.
This show
Bare
is
bone.
sure. This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. Prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman.
Very proud of their history, Joe.
All
Jack.
right,
Very proud.
okay. That brings us back to the show. With me is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, special political commentator, been with us for more than 5 or 6 years. We're 200-something shows today.
236.
236.
All my honor.
236 shows already with me.
I'm happy.
As you can see. Well, that makes us older, right?
Yeah, it does. We're not getting younger.
All right. We laid down all the cards, at least the 20 candidates of Democrats who are running have laid down their cards, or their first card, or their testing water, who knows, but they showed up,
Yeah.
right? With so many, including Bernie Sanders,
Right.
who, according to Ken, is a socialist, right?
Self-declared. He calls himself one.
Self-declared, yes. Who, according to Ken, was a liberal.
A leftist. He's past more than liberal.
More than left.
Yeah, he's left of liberal.
Well, anyway, left and liberal. How about that?
Right. Correct.
But anyway, he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, those names include Joe Biden, former vice president, right? And just speaking of Joe Biden, there is a controversy. For about 1 week, right, when he first or before and after his announcement,
Right.
right, even before, about 2-3 days before his announcement, followed another 2 to 3 days after his announcement, about net 1 week time, talking about his improper way. Anyway.
Yeah, just
Demeanor. How about that?
yeah, demeanor. Yeah, that's good. Leave it at that.
Demeanor.
Right.
So,
Which made some people uncomfortable. So
which made
and
somebody
he's apologized for it.
uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And so, let me ask you, what is your take
Well,
of the demeanor?
Well, things change over time. He's been there a long time. A lot of it was, he's a hugger, okay? And hugging is great. I mean, there's places right now, there's a couple places, companies that are disallowing employees to shake hands anymore. Something that ridiculous. What a normal thing it is to shake hands, show some camaraderie, okay? And they say, oh, well, maybe that's inappropriate touching. Well, I just don't, I don't agree with that. But now, Biden is doing something very intelligent. His wife is sitting with him all the time now and to showing her support for him. So that's good. That's smart. And then they asked him, I saw a big interview with him, and they said, well, sir, Mr. President Trump has the slogan for the last election, Make America Great Again. And they said, well, do you have a slogan? And he says, yes, I do. My slogan will be Make America Moral Again. Okay, now that's going to be interesting because, like the Democratic Party has had so many instances, for example, West Virginia, where the governor and the attorney general, I think it is, all had pictures in blackface 30 years ago. I don't think I don't think they should have to resign for that. I really don't. The lieutenant governor, however, 2 very credible women have said that he raped them in college. Now it's credible, okay? So he should be out of there, but so on the left, they just let it die because they don't go after it, but they'll go after if you're a Republican. And like I've always said, Franken didn't need to resign either.
In other words, Brett Kavanaugh was only a lucky survivor.
Because he was strong,
Yeah,
like Trump and like I would be.
Lot of them.
90% would have collapsed.
When collapsed, died halfway.
90% would have
politically,
collapsed.
right?
Yeah.
So Brett Kavanaugh was one of the lucky guys, one of the very few.
He's one of the men that had the strength and knowledge that none of this stuff happened, and I'm proud of him.
Sure. I'm glad that you and I once again find a common ground in this area.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think Biden's inappropriateness or whatever will change any votes.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
It just makes noise
Number
right now.
Number one, I do not believe the demeanor, quote unquote,
Yes, sir.
performed by Joe Biden had anything wrong. This is number one. And number two, I do not believe the voice calling that wrong, feeling uncomfortable, or trying to smack on him with, will ever last.
It will
They
last,
will die.
But they were not happy with his activities, with his touching. But still, yeah, that was a long time ago too.
People do touch.
Well, it depends where, Jack. I mean, there were things, okay?
People do touch.
Yeah.
We shake hands all the time, right?
It's my honor.
We hug all the time,
Absolutely.
right?
Everybody.
To express ourselves.
Right.
To express ourselves. Now we are at the point, okay, to give you a good example myself,
Yes, sir.
all right? Talking about my character,
Yeah.
if happens to be at the line waiting for checkout,
Yeah.
right?
You get impatient?
There is a woman holding a nice baby.
Sure, yeah.
Especially a girl.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Right in front of me.
Babies are great.
And I would, in the past,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, touch a baby's hand or
tickle
something.
her either on the hand or on the face.
Yeah.
And I would say, beautiful girl.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, it used in the old time.
Right.
I mean, I'm not
It was
talking
acceptable.
about. I'm not talking about a very old time like my grandpa.
Right.
I'm talking about in my older time.
Right. Yeah, not long ago.
Not long ago, right?
No.
It was quite accept. The mother would, thank you,
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah,
right?
now you can say it, but
And
you
the baby,
probably can't touch
the
it.
baby either shy away or
Right.
giggle.
Right, yeah.
Right. And it's, what a healthy on life.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I quit. I shaved myself into not doing anything.
And sometimes not even saying what you're thinking,
No.
which is beautiful thoughts. Because, well, what if they're, not happy with it?
No,
Yeah.
I
You're
would
right.
act like as if I see nothing.
Yeah.
I see nobody.
let it
right?
pass.
Now, why me, Jack Chow, is
Yes, sir.
acting like this? Because we learn.
Yeah.
We learn. All right.
We all learn the hard way.
Joe Biden was the only one, or is the only one,
Yeah.
not learning like I did.
Very slow learner. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Very
That's the
slow.
only difference.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. And I will tickle the little girl in the face, poke her like kiki, like that.
And then a big.
And I would say, sometimes give me 5.
Oh, sure, me too.
Or high
I'm a
five,
gregarious
little 5.
guy.
Like that kind
I
of
start
thing.
conversations everywhere.
All right.
I love people. Yeah.
Especially babies. Right?
Yeah.
Especially babies.
Yeah, everybody.
But now I quit.
Yeah.
I
don't
can't
blame
even
you.
do it.
But I will see a baby and there's a mother and I'll say, beautiful kid.
Okay, back to the comment.
Yeah.
That somebody will make U.S. strong again.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Joe Biden, if he says what he meant
Yeah.
to
Well, he said make America moral again.
Make America moral again.
Right.
I do support 100%. If there is 111%, I will do 111.
Well, let me tell
How
you
about that?
why I would disagree. I think we are moral. Okay, he's not going to.
No, we're not.
Well,
no, we're
and
not.
he's not
No,
going to
we're
have
not.
any
No, we're
influence
not.
on it.
Okay, now, the example I give you can't even comment about a baby
Yeah.
in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Is that immoral?
It's totally immoral to compliment a mother on their child.
Oh, no.
That's total.
I mean,
yeah, pardon
you
me.
can't. The fact you can't.
Yeah.
Is that moral?
No, it's a weapon of the left to intimidate and shut up those that they don't like what they say.
I have my guess.
What it
right?
is.
I have my guess. Sometimes, quite often, they are women.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
If they hug me, I would act like a victim. I would just do this.
Well,
And let them hug. I will
yeah.
never hug them on my own before they gestured anything.
no, not before. Right. I agree.
All right?
Yeah.
So,
But if somebody reaches out to hug me, I'll hug them. And
Yeah. women.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the
But I
moral
hug
way.
my male friends. We
Yeah, of course.
bump each other's chests and all
I
that
hug
stupid
you.
stuff. We're all
We're not gay. I
No.
still hug you.
Yeah, we're just guys.
Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we haven't seen each other for too long. We even touch face.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, of course.
We're good, right?
Yeah.
So why
That's bonding.
human beings?
Bonding,
Why
they're trying to
human
eliminate
beings-
bonding.
Why human beings right now
It's a weapon.
in the United States are restricted from those regular
It's all a
things?
portion of political correctness.
Yes, all right.
Which is a very tragedy for America.
Now.
Yes, sir.
Joe Biden's slogan
Yeah.
to make
America moral again.
Make America moral
Yeah.
again is a declaration. To the Democrats himself.
Well, I hope so.
That's my
Yeah.
that's my take.
Well, you're an optimist. That's
Because
good.
we're gone too far.
Yeah. Well, we have, but also then he also says, well, we just have to start impeaching President Trump. There is such evil in that impeachment stuff. He hasn't done a darn thing
Go
wrong.
ahead and impeach if you do
It'll
have
never go through
the stuff.
Well, they don't.
What?
They don't, and it'll never be
Do you have
passed
the
by the
time?
Senate. All they want to do is
Do you
just
have the
continue
supermajority?
hate. They don't have it. No, they
Right?
don't. Good point. They don't have it. No.
What?
It's just so.
You don't want to just say it before you do it. Just go ahead and do it.
You know, way back, Rush Limbaugh, who I really like as a political commentator or a commentator, he said, you know, I really hope that Barack Obama is not successful because he didn't approve of which I agree, of where Barack Obama wanted to take us, okay, which was on this apology tour and all that. So that was different, but
Obama,
he didn't show hatred or
President
anything.
Barack Obama was a show altogether himself.
Absolutely, yeah, no.
Right? He talking about
As unique
immigration,
as President
immigration
Trump.
reform. During his 80 years, did he do anything about immigration reform?
Nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
Okay, my dear friends, we're a little over time, but
Wow.
we're okay. With me today is my good friend Ken Hemming, and we enjoy the argument. We enjoy of course, the agreement, of course, even more. This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgium royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman. That stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. We will say goodbye till next time.
Thank you, guys.